Next, we're going to add a Photoshop file as a smart image inside of Dreamweaver. So in your File panel, find photowalks.html and open up that. If I scroll down just a little bit, I notice that I've got a space underneath where I'm talking about join us for our landscape photo walk in May. Over in your Assets panel, inside of your Images folder, there is a Photoshop file called colorcorrection.psd. Go ahead and just grab that and drag that into your document. At this point, we get an image preview that pops up, and it lets us optimize our image. Remember, it's a Photoshop file, so we need to optimize it. My options are JPEG, GIF, PNG 8, PNG 24, and 32. If you're not used to using Photoshop, you may not be used to optimizing images, and which type of image goes with which file type. This is a photograph, and it has continuous tones in it, so it works best as a JPEG or a PNG 24 because it has continuous tones. A JPEG and a PNG 24 can have up to 16.7 millions of colors, so that's why it works best with continuous tones. If I take a look at a GIF or GIF, depending on how you pronounce it, I only have 256 colors available to me. So this works best with big broad bands of color. I can choose my palette, adaptive, web-safe colors. I can choose transparency or not. And by the way, my JPEG does not allow for transparency. So if I need to have transparency in my file, then I need to choose either a GIF or a PNG. Over in my preview window, at the bottom, I have my selection tool, my crop tool, a zoom tool, and whether I want to see my preview in 1-up, 2-up, or 4-up view. This allows me to choose different options for different windows, and then I can decide which optimization works best for this particular image. So we'll leave one window up as a GIF with 256 colors. I'm going to choose this window here, and notice the focus. I have an outline around this, and I will choose JPEG. We'll leave it at quality of 80. For this one, I'm going to change this to PNG 8. My PNG 8 is very much like my GIF or GIF image. I only have 256 colors to choose from. And finally, I will choose PNG 24. You'll notice with the PNG 24 format that I don't have any extra options. I either just choose PNG 24 or 32. So if I take a look at my image preview for each of these windows, I see that my GIF is 40K and it takes 6 seconds at 56K for it to download. If I click on my JPEG, I see that it's going to take 3 seconds and it's only a 19K file, so it's much smaller. My PNG 8 is a fairly large file as well, so it's 35K. And my PNG 24 file is the largest of all at 123K. So you can see from the size alone, most of the time, and it's not a hard and fast rule, but most of the time, your smallest file will be your best option. So we'll make sure and choose our JPEG, and then we'll click OK. Now it's going to ask us where we want to put that. So we're in Chapter 5, inside of our Assets, inside of our Images, and go ahead and choose Save. Again, making sure that my URL is relative to the document that I'm on at the time. And it's going to be inside of my Assets folder, in my Images folder, and it's going to be called colorcorrection.jpg. I can put my text here. And I will click OK. I'll scroll just a little bit here so that we can see with our image here, I have a green arrow. My green arrow is telling me that this is connected to a Photoshop file. If I go back to Photoshop and make any changes to this particular file, I can update it inside of Dreamweaver. If I right-click on this image, I can see that I can edit with a different program, or I can edit original. And we'll choose the original. And I'm just going to make one little adjustment in here So I'll go to my Layers panel, choose an adjustment layer, maybe Hue and Saturation. I'll click on Colorize, and just move my slider around a little bit just so it looks a little more like a sepia tone image. All I'm going to do is save. I don't want to make sure and not save as, because you're going to lose that link back in Dreamweaver. So I'll save here. I'll move back to Dreamweaver, and now it tells me that this image needs to be updated. To update my file, now I can either choose to click the button over in my Property Inspector and update from Original, or I can right-click and update from Original. And now my file has been updated, so you can see how easy it is to use smart objects inside of Dreamweaver.